so hard for people to quit their job. If you left today, your company would move on without you. We are heading into a new decade, a new season for you to evaluate your career and take the steps needed to advance strategically. And it all starts with determining whether you should quit your job. This is one episode of a 10-part series called Should I Quit My Job that will take you through evaluating yourself, managing external impacts on your career, evaluating your current reality, and creating a plan to move forward. My name is Julia, and I am the career strategist behind the Ride the Tide Collective podcast, where we equip ambitious professionals to strategize and take action to advance their career. Welcome to episode 4 of the Should I Quit My Job series. Do you like your work? Are you good at it? I know, these seem like simple questions, right? Do you like your work? Are you good at your work? But truthfully, it can be very complicated. You might like your work, but you aren't great at it, so you don't advance. You might be good at the work, but secretly you hate it. You might like the work and be good at it, but something's missing. You might hate the work and be terrible at it, which in this case, I really feel like you should get out and leave that position. But why does it matter if we like our work or not? Previous generations did what they needed to do to make ends meet. It wasn't about whether or not you liked the work. You did the job because you had a family to support. And in some cases, that's still relevant today for those who live paycheck to paycheck or who haven't been able to extricate themselves from the hand that life has dealt them. Today, I'm speaking to those who want more from their work, regardless of where you're at. You want to do meaningful work and enjoy your work. You want to excel and get better and be better. You want promotions and new experiences. So how do we get there? Well, if it hasn't been clear yet, you need to define your interests and outline your skill set. So let's start with interests. What do you like? What are your hobbies? What do you do for fun? What excites you? I had a client who loved to cook. That's not the type of work that he did, but at home he would cook all sorts of fun and interesting meals or would try new restaurants. If I have any food or cooking related questions, I go to him. But that's not his profession. Why? Well, because when he worked in food service at a young age, he realized that his values didn't align with his interests. He went a different route and has had a successful career. And the last time we spoke, he mentioned his passion for food again. And he's been trying to figure out how to make his dream a reality. His interest in this area is so strong that he's doing everything he can to make it happen. While it's not a reality right now, and in a lot of ways still clashes with his values, he is in the planning stages to make it a reality. I'm sure if the type of work he wanted in the food industry aligned with his values, he would happily change jobs. But that's not the case right now. This is an example of your interests colliding with your values. But that isn't always the case. Let's take someone who does marketing. While a very saturated industry, it's a very popular profession that is needed in all industries, which is awesome. Why is that so awesome? Because if you're in marketing and you have a strong interest in anything, any industry, chances are you can get a job in that industry. Let's say you were an athlete in high school and college, specifically in track. You know everything about everything related to track. You knew you weren't going to go to the Olympics, but you loved track so much that you wanted to stay connected. You also happen to be creative, and you got a marketing degree in college. This is where interests and skills align. You can apply for marketing positions for anything related to track and field. A college athletics department, Nike, Adidas, the Olympics. You can work for another country who has a champion track and field team. You can work for a track and field athlete or a company who manages track and field athletes. You could work for a nonprofit that promotes sports specifically around track and field. There are so many possibilities. How do you know which one to choose? Well, That's where the values we talked about in episode 3 might come into play. For example, Nike is in the Pacific Northwest of the US. Would you be willing to move there? Once upon a time, when I wanted to be a professional photographer, I thought it would be amazing to be a photographer for Dance Spirit. It's a major dance magazine. But I wasn't willing to move to another state. They're located in New York and in Florida, and I was in Southern California. Those are the choices you make when your values don't align with your interests and your skills. Spend some time thinking about what you enjoy. Go back in your life to interests you had as a young adult. I grew up dancing, which is why I wanted to work for Dance Spirit. Does your current profession have opportunities in the industry of your interest? Now let's talk about skills. I want to preface this by saying that I believe we can learn anything. There is so much information readily available to us for free, and in most cases, for a nominal fee, that whatever skill we want to learn and master is within our ability. Now, reading about a profession or a skill does not make you an expert. And in some cases, you need specific training or certifications to even apply for or do positions in a specific field. A lawyer, for example, needs to pass the bar in their state to practice law. But that doesn't mean you can't learn about law or have a job at a law firm without being a lawyer. Identifying your skill set is a must to be able to understand what gives you energy and what makes you want to stab your eye out. Take time to make a list of the skills that you love, the skills you hate, and the skills you're good at but don't like doing. These are what we call killer skills. When I transitioned careers in my mid-20s, yes, my mid-20s, I went from a creative role to a counseling role. Not many counselors at the time had my creative skill set, so I used it as a selling point. It ended up getting me one of my first positions in my new career path, but soon it became a killer skill. Yes, I could design and photograph, but that isn't why I switched careers. I switched careers because I wanted to help people in a different way. My creative talent became a killer skill very quickly. When I transitioned on from my initial role, I made it clear to the new company that I wasn't going to be using my design skills for that position. And thankfully, they ended up being fine with it because they had a graphic designer on staff who could handle all of those requests. I learned to move past the killer skill by being firm and setting expectations in advance. We've talked about interests and skills, and in episode 3, we talked about values. The sweet spot is finding a career that aligns all 3 of these areas together. Identify the values first and run your interests and skills through the values filter. If you are interested in digging deeper with this content, with interacting with like-minded professionals, or if you have any questions, I highly recommend that you join our Facebook group by searching Ride the Tide Collective on Facebook, or you can access the link that I'm going to leave in the show notes.